All right, well, it's great to be here today at the War Memorial to launch our ANZAC Round game this year. This year's the 19th consecutive year that Port Adelaide have hosted ANZAC Round. It's a really important game and round for our club and our people. It's a terrific partnership with the RSL, and we'll be presenting the Peter Vagco VC medal to the player that best exemplifies the spirit of the Anzacs, and Connor Rozee was the winner of that medal last year. It's great to have Connor here. So since 1914, over 130 players, Port Adelaide players, have served our country at war, the most of any football club in Australia, including 14, of course, who never returned. Includes military medalist Bob Quinn, dual Magarey medalist either side of active service in World War II, and Roy Drummond, who was a champion of Australia medalist with Port Adelaide in 1913 and 1914. And also Maria Maloney, an active, our current AFLW player, is currently on active service overseas. This Saturday we'll be wearing a really special Guernsey which depicts the Lone Pine at Gallipoli. From the Battle of Lone Pine in 1915, and after the game we'll be auctioning off those Guernseys with all proceeds from those Guernseys going to the RSL. So as I said, a really important day for our football club and our community, and a great privilege to be playing again and hosting an ANZAC Round game here at Adelaide Oval. And I'll hand over to Cheryl Cates, the President of the RSL. Cheryl.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Look, thank you very much, everyone, for coming out today. It is, as Matthew said, it is very important for the RSL, this round. It's at the lead up, the excitement and everything. And for the way that the Port Adelaide Football Club throws its all into remembering our veterans and playing around and having a special Guernsey, it's very important to us and what they give to us. We have a wonderful working relationship. 19 years tells the story, so we must be doing something right. So I'd like to thank you all again, and congratulate Connor. Last year you don't get a chance to congratulate them until you see them in person, actually. And we hope that somebody out there, the Vagco medal is judged on the media and journalists in attendance on the day and watching the match. So great to have the relationship that we've got.
Great, thanks, Cheryl. Happy to take any questions.
Yeah, Richo, 19 years, I know it's one of the fixtures you always put first to the AFL that you want. Why is it so important to the club?
Yeah, as I said, it is always our number one fixture request. Our football club is 152 years old. We've had over 130 past players serve our country at war. So it's got a deep meaning, it's authentic, and to be able to be an important part of this important round is a great privilege for our football club. We have a really important relationship ongoing with the Australian Defence Forces and the RSL. Our community program runs some terrific programs for returned service people to help with their integration back into the community when they return from service. So there are just so many wonderful stories bedded right throughout our club. And that just adds to the significance of the round for Port Adelaide.
It's always a wonderful night as well. It seems like something your fans and members really take and wear with pride as well.
Always, and I think that's a really important part of what this round is: the storytelling and the significance of what this round means for Australia as a country. It's something our people are really proud of. Our club is really proud of all the people and our involvement in it, and that flows through to our fans. Our fans obviously have great respect for what the round means, and it feels like every single year we're adding to that.
Maybe a comment on this year's jumper, who it was designed, what it represents.
Yeah, so the jumper represents the leaves of the Lone Pine, which signifies the Lone Pine Battle in Gallipoli in 1915. I think it's a great nod to that. Again, it highlights the story and the connection between the club and ANZAC Round.
Connor, or football questions, or Richo, what have you? It's been a fantastic response by the team last couple of weeks. From your point of view, how did you take all the external criticism that sort of followed the showdown?
Yeah, look, I think it's exactly that. We understand that there's always scrutiny. There's always a lot of emotion around the showdown, even more so because of the significance of that game and us wearing our heritage prison bar Guernsey. So we understand the emotion, and we also appreciate and understand that people have views and have opinions and are going to have comments, and that's part of the game. All we can do though is control what we can, and I think the team and the coaches did a fantastic job in doing exactly that. We had to make sure we had a massive game against Sydney, had a terrific response in that game, and then another really important win on the weekend against the Bulldogs. So we always have to come back into the things that we can control. And I think again, I think the players and the coaches have done a terrific job at that. And as a club, from a leadership perspective, our job is to make sure we support our coaches and support our players and give them confidence and the space to do what they need to do. So I think it's been a really good response. But footy cliche, this week is another game, and it's a really important game against West Coast Eagles on a really important day for our club.
Seems like there's been a great unity over the last fortnight as well, and maybe it's even brought the club even closer together, if that was possible from a club point of view. Has that sort of been your belief all along, that those structures were really sound and solid, and there was that togetherness there?
Yeah, I don't think it was about that week at all. I think we have, for a number of years, we've got a really connected football club, we've got a really connected football program, we've got great belief in our people. We've just got to let them do their jobs, and that's what we continue to do. We understand it's a win-loss industry, and at the end of the day, we'll be judged by the wins and losses. But we need to stay focused on the things that we can control, and that's exactly what we're doing and what we'll continue to do.
You're at the helm, Richo. Did you, as the chief, did you reach out to Warren or any of the other people who might have been publicly having a go?
No, not at all, because I didn't believe that we needed to. I've got a great relationship with Warren. I caught up with Warren down at the club in January. As I said, I understand the position that he's in. He's in the media. He's got to have views and he's got to have opinions, and that's his job. So totally respect that and understand it. As I said, our job is to make sure that we're focused. We stay really focused on the things that we can control. And that's, I think we did a really good job of that, and we will continue to do a job of that. It's a tough competition. Those challenges will keep coming as we work through the year, but if we can stay really focused on 1 week at a time, which I know is a footy cliche and no one wants to hear that, we'll continue to give ourselves the best chance of winning games. Can
a board or a chief executive, can you guys feel the same sort of pressure that a coach or a player might feel when things aren't going right?
Yeah, of course. We're listening all the time. We understand the expectation that our people have and our members have. That expectation is no higher than the people inside the club. We have the same expectation. I guess the difference is we're the people that are charged with the responsibility to do something about it. And again, as I said, you've just got to stay really focused on the things that you control and what you're doing. And we've got good people, and we've just got to continue to back them.
Ken spoke so well, or so passionately after the game on the weekend. As a club and a more bigger picture, what are you doing to throw your arms and support around Jason and Francis?
Yeah, look, I think Ken, as you said, said it brilliantly. I guess I reflect on the weekend a little bit differently in that, the weekend was such an amazing celebration of football in this state and AFL as a game in terms of what it brings, and the connection of the fans and the way that fans from all around the country came and celebrated the game. It's disappointing that this is probably the one element where maybe we look at ourselves and go, maybe we're not as good as, that was the moment where maybe we let ourselves down a little bit. But I think Ken has put it perfectly. We're thrilled that Jason's our footy club. He's got great people around him, and in the end he let his actions do the talking. He's playing great footy for us, and we look forward to Jason having a really long career with our club.
You've said previously you won't sort of touch on the Ken contract stuff until the end of the year. If things continue to go well, like last 2 weeks, and they keep showing that fight, I mean, it's almost a question going the other way than you would have got a couple of weeks ago. Is it the sort of thing you might revisit and, have those discussions with Ken?
Yeah, look, we're all on the same page. We're really focused just on what we need to do this week in order to give ourselves the best chance of winning. So dealing with what ifs and what might happen in the future doesn't help that at all. So that's not going to change.
Is it hard though for Ken, or are you wary of having a coach who will constantly be asked about his future? Do you have to sort of start to factor that in at some point this year?
Yeah, as I said, we're all really on the same page. We don't need to have that conversation until later in the year, and as long as we're all on the same page inside the club, then that's really all that matters at this point. And just let people get on with their jobs and hopefully win the game this weekend.
That's sort of strong of Ken to say, I can deal with that for the year, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it's not like we didn't know the year that we were stepping into, and Ken, of course, is exactly the same. So. I think that's the strength of the relationships and trust. We can have really honest conversations and we're all on the same page, and that's how you give yourself the best chance of success.
When you see him, I mean, we've just touched on the Horn Francis thing, when you see him stand up to the players like that, and all the players, they stand up for Ken every time we ask about him, like as if he's a father figure. They just love the way that he handles them. Are they the sort of moments that make you and the board go, he's the right man for our club right now?
Well, I mean, it's not just that. It's there's a whole lot that comes to it. But yeah, I think you've seen, that's one of the great things about Ken is he cares deeply about people. He cares deeply about his players, and that's a really important part of being a successful coach.
Kind of, what does it mean you've won the Peter Bagpo medal? What does that mean to you as a player?
Yeah, it's a big honour. Obviously, we've just spoken about what the round means as a whole, and the players don't take it for granted for sure. We've got a lot of fans and players in the past that have contributed to the ANZAC Round, and I think the players in general know what it means, and we love playing in these sorts of games. So yeah, I can't wait to put the Guernsey on again and have another good game, hopefully.
What's it like to be involved in as a player?
Yeah, it's really special. Our club does a really good job at putting on these sorts of rounds, and this one's no different. It's a massive part of our club. We've talked about that already. So yeah, again, just can't wait to get to the weekend and to wear the special jumper.
Are you happy with the jumper?
Yeah, it looks really good. Again, our club does a really good job. I think we're probably one of the better clubs at creating those sorts of jumpers, and the meaning behind it is really special as well to our club. So can't wait to put it on.
Where's the medal sit at home, Connor? Got a little mantelpiece or a trophy box? Or?
Hidden somewhere. I'm trying not to give that away. Someone will rob me.
I didn't ask for your address.
Nah, it's on the cupboard next to my bed.
We asked Richard about it, but the response from the team the last fortnight, how impressive have you been, and how rewarding has that been as a club to really turn it around the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it is rewarding. We know that we can take it to the best teams in the comp when we play the right way, and we've brought that back to our defence. Our pressure's been really good the last couple of weeks, and that's what really made us a good team for the last couple of years. So if we keep that up, we know we can win most weeks and give ourselves a really good opportunity. We're a young team and we're still building, so hopefully we can take care of those inconsistencies and keep that confidence and belief going for the next few weeks and for the rest of the year. It's a long competition, a long year. There's going to be ups and downs, but hopefully we can keep the ball rolling.
Ken on the bench and talking to players in the driving rain like something out of a rom-com. It feels like externally you guys have gotten even closer together. It's been a bit of a unifier. Has that been the case at all? Has it felt like that?
Yeah, we've had a great connection that's been building since I got to the club really, and we're all really good mates. I haven't been to another club, so I'm not sure what it's like, but I know that our club is extremely close, not only our players, but with our coaching group as well, and I think that definitely helps us when we get into tough situations, and has helped us last year when we were 0-5 to bounce back really quickly, but also this year when we probably had a couple of weeks where we didn't play the way we wanted to bounce back quickly and remain close as a playing group and trust each other as well. So yeah, I think it's definitely a benefit for us going forward, and that won't change that connection.
I know when things weren't going Port's way last year, it was often you that sort of stood up in the middle. This year in the wins, have you noticed a few other blokes stepping up in the middle and taking a bit of that load? Yeah,
Jason was massive on the weekend, Zach Butters as well. There's a few young boys that have really stepped up and hopefully can take the next step and become consistent, great players. Because yeah, if they play like they did on the weekend, then it's a really exciting group to be a part of. We're all pretty young, so we love to take the game on and play footy just for fun. And I think that's what makes us a fun team to watch and a fun team to be a part of. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of players. I could name 10 players that have really taken the next step, and hopefully they can keep going that way.
You're just talking about the young boys. Do you still feel like one of the young boys?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because I was actually thinking about it the other day. I'm 23 now, and it's probably not seen as part of that core really young group anymore, but I definitely do feel like that. Yeah, hanging around 18, 19-year-olds keeps you young, that's for sure. Yeah.
How do you feel about Richo, 23, not being young
Really
anymore?
old, mate. Really old. Yeah.
A bit of extra attention as well has been coming your way sort of a bit last year, and Rowbottom went to you a couple of weeks ago. How are you finding that evolution of the challenges that you have to face now, and how you're dealing with that?
It is a new challenge. It's something that it's probably mentally preparing for coming into this year a little bit more. But I think the guys around me have been awesome, and like Max said just before, stepping up and taking the load as well. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge going forward, and it's something that I'm trying to combat on in training, trying different techniques to get around it. But I'm looking forward to that sort of challenge going forward, and hopefully I can keep building my game as a player, because I feel like I've got a long way to go.
Not unlike Jason, you were a high draft pick with a lot of expectation, probably not quite as much because you didn't move clubs, but do you remember what that was like to deal with? How big was that expectation, and then having to deal with that?
Yeah, there's certainly expectations when you're a high draft pick, and I mean, he's 19 years old. I remember when I was 19 4 years ago, just wanting to stay in the side and play football. So I'm sure he's not thinking about all the external expectations too much. He's got great support network around us. The boys are really close with him. He's a great kid, really resilient, and he's going to be great for us, for our football club going forward for hopefully the next 10 to 15 years. So yeah, he's just a young kid trying to play football, and he's got a great support network around him.
Was it
Last couple, guys.
Was it hard to ignore even the positive stuff, like, you know, Kane comparing you and saying you're better than Sam Walsh every week for a year? That sort of stuff, or that sort of attention, is that something the player you'd rather not have, or how do you put that to one side?
Yeah, it's a bit of a nothing sort of comment, I guess, from people from the outside who are certainly not inside the football club. There's certainly people whose opinions we listen to. It's hard not to when they're in the media, but I know when I go into a game every week, I'm not thinking about what someone's said in the media the week before. I'm thinking about what my role is and what I have to execute on the weekend. So yeah, people are going to, it's the AFL, there's thousands of people that have got opinions. No one's going to have the same opinion, so if we keep those opinions and people that we respect within the football club and people that know what we do week to week, then it helps me certainly to focus on just what I have to do on the weekend.
What do you say to Jason or other draftees then about your experience being that high pick and having that expectation, and how you best block that all out?
To keep his group that he listens to pretty small, which mostly comes from inside the football club and his family and friends, which he's doing well at the moment. So I know Josh Carr is working pretty closely with him, but our support network as a playing group have really got around him, and again, he's going to be great for us in the long term. So we're really getting around him and supporting him the best we can.
How's Charlie?
Yeah, he's okay. I think he really wants to play this week, so we'll see how he goes Thursday and reevaluate then. I don't know exactly what the injury is as of yet, so we know what Charlie's like. He's competitive and will want to be there on the weekend, so we'll reevaluate later in the week.
And the captain?
Yeah, again, he's moving pretty well today. I think he was feeling a bit better after the rest on the weekend, so he'll probably be another one to reevaluate when we have our main session Thursday, and yeah, I'm sure we put his hand up.
Sorry. The reason we're here is ANZAC Round and the significance of that for our football club, but also for the game and the country. Just to RSL, to the RSL and to Cheryl and all the RSLs around the country who do an amazing job. I know our club will be down at the semaphore service on ANZAC for the dawn service, and I always really look forward to that day. So to Cheryl and her team and all of the people around South Australia, encourage you all to get out to the dawn services on Anzac Day and get to footy this weekend at Adelaide Oval and at 1:10 against West Coast, and what should be a fantastic game. Thank you very much for being here. Cheers.